teachers were deposed. There were therapists that had reported Mr. Wade to DCFS for being abusive, to Zaire.
Therapists reporting him for being abusive?
Yes.
Well, I do see in this report that Dr. Mobley mentioned Mr. Fist. Can you explain to me who is Mr. Fist and what is Mr. Fist about?
Well, Mr. Wade, in disciplining Zaire, would take his closed fist and literally punch our son in the chest. He hit him hard, so hard one November. I remember because my mom and my grandmother were up in Miami during Thanksgiving, that Zaire literally slid across the floor in the house and had a full-blown asthma attack. And so he would ball his fists up and punch him in the chest as a means to discipline him. And he would call his fist and refer to it as Mr. Fist. So in disciplining him, he would say, you know, Zaire, do you want Mr. Fist? And that all came out too during this forensic evaluation, because the children were also evaluated by this forensic psychiatrist.
What were the results? What did your children actually go through while you all were going through the separation, this custody battle? Did you notice any differences within your children? How were they affected?
Well, in the 3 months that Mr. Wade wasn't around and had no contact at all, no physical contact at all with Zion or Zaire, you know, 3 months consecutively, Zion responded, you know, not knowing him. There was no bond, there was no attachment. He was missing, you know, every day when he was, you know, a baby and growing and changing rapidly. And so he responded to him as a stranger. Zaire knew him. Obviously, he was older. And so Zaire was very saddened by the fact that, you know, for 3 months straight, he didn't see him or didn't hear from him. But there were other things that happened, too, that had an effect. It wasn't just the separation, and it wasn't just ultimately the divorce that had effect on these children. There were so many other things going on, you know, behind closed doors.
Well, you mentioned your son was balding at one time. How did that happen?
Well, one night he was on the phone with his dad, and his dad, I could hear him yelling. He was so loud, and he was telling him, stop crying, men don't cry, man the F up, stop effing crying, and all of the yelling and the cursing, and it really upset him. It wasn't just the cursing, but even him telling him or making him feel like something was wrong with the fact that he was crying or that something had made him sad, and it had a really bad effect on Zaire. His hair literally began to fall out, and that night he said, you know, Mom, I just want to die. And that didn't have anything to do with the separation or the divorce or custody. That was direct behavior and treatment of his dad towards him. So it wasn't just Mr. Fist, you know, and that physical harm done to him. It was also the verbal abuse. You know, you don't speak to a child. You don't curse and tell a child, you know, or threaten a child. You know, and so that night it got really bad, and I suppose he was at a place where he felt like he couldn't take it, and he literally told me, Mom, I want to die. And my response was, you know, I was thinking in my mind, he's of age. Will he try to take his own life? I was scared, and it was after hours, it was nighttime. I called the therapist that he was seeing at the time, and I told her, and I said, I'm not certain what to do, but I'm obviously scared. I'm not, you know, sure if at this age he will do something to try to harm himself. Please help me. How can you advise me? So she gave us an emergency appointment. We came in the next day, and, you know, she spoke to him in detail alone about what happened and asked him to, you know, trust her, to confide in her about how he was feeling. And, you know, she did everything she needed to do as a professional to make sure that he was all right and that he was not going to harm himself. And next thing I know, maybe a few days later, DCFS shows up at the door, and the therapist had reported Mr. Wade for being abusive towards Zaire.
You've been around since this custody battle has been going on, and I know Siohvaughn is your friend. I know you love her dearly. How do you feel about the children?
I love them. When I was introduced to Siohvaughn, and I met her children, in that moment I was going through a transition that I lost a sister. Her husband killed her in front of her children. To me, it was an opportunity that what I couldn't do for my own nephews, I was doing it for those children.
Siohvaughn, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Because it's obvious you're fighting for your children. What are you going to do?
I'm going to pray and I'm going to continue to fight. I'm going to do everything that I can do. At the end of the day, you know, as I look back and my children reflect back, I will know this and they will know this. I did everything that I possibly could.
Did money, do you believe, in your opinion, and I'm gonna ask you too, honestly, do you believe that money and fame afforded Mr. Wade the custody of your children? Or do you feel as though that he could be a good parent, but maybe the court truly did think, when I say the court outside of the psychologists and the experts that was appointed in the court, do you think that maybe it was some other external factors that the court maybe found that he was a better fit parent than you?
Absolutely, I do. I absolutely do. I have no question about it. It was very biased to me. You know, if somebody were to ask me, what do I, think about it, if I could sum it up, I would tell you I didn't get a fair shake, not even from the beginning.
As you all can see, we are in the car with Larry. He was the actual chauffeur driver for Siohvaughn Wade during her entire trial. And believe me, it took a lot for me to even get Larry on camera, because he insisted that he would not go on camera. He did not want to, because one thing that he does not want people to believe is that he's trying to exploit the professional relationship that he had with Siohvaughn Wade. After long begging, pleading and begging, because we flew all the way up here, he agreed to give us some information, but he is not going to share everything that he actually shared with us earlier on camera. He's not comfortable with doing that. Larry, can I ask you, how did you meet Miss Siohvaughn Wade? Because listen, I know that you're having some reservations.
Big time.
And
I'll feel better tomorrow.
But why?
I won't stand you up.
No. But why? Well, we're not going to be here. But why is it that you having these reservations like this?
Because I told you what my reasons were, and then like I said, I promised my mother and my father that I wouldn't do it, because I talked to like 5 people. I was like on the fence. I wanted to do it, and I didn't want to do it.
Why did you want to do it though?
To help Siohvaughn.
And you want to help Siohvaughn because what? This is just this. You want to help Siohvaughn because of what?
Because she's a good parent. I think she deserves her kids. Her kids need to be with her.
Now, just out of respect, and please don't think I'm being disrespectful, it was stated in the past before that you and Siohvaughn had more than a professional relationship. Is that true?
Not at all.
Okay. And when you say, have you been around Siohvaughn when she's had her children?
Yes.
And you do see that she's a good, caring mother?
Very good, caring mother.
And when you was taking her to court, all those, it was weeks or months that you took her to court during that time, did you actually see Dewayne Wade in court?
Yes.
Did you all ever speak?
No. Not once.
Did he ever give you any type of gestures, or?
He would give me dirty looks from time to time, but that's about it.
And when he would give you dirty looks, what was your response back?
There was really no response. I would just look at him, turn my head.
Did his lawyers ever say anything to you?
All the time.
Like?
Hope Siohvaughn doesn't get hurt today. You're doing a good job keeping her safe. You have your gun in court today. Things like that.
Well, and I know we're not accusing nobody of anything. I know we all know that. But you had a tragedy that happened to you during the time that you were taking Siohvaughn to court. Your car was actually set on fire. And you still got up and still drove her to court. What made you do that?
Oh, I just felt I needed to be there for her. She seemed like she was alone. No one was there. Everybody was against her.
In your opinion, do you feel like she was unjustly treated in the courts?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
And why would you say that?
They was just biased towards her. There was just a lot of things that went on that I thought was unfair.
Do you think that they were biased towards her because her ex-husband was a NBA player?
I'm sure that had a lot to do with it.
Do you feel as though if they were both, and when I mean they, Siohvaughn and Dewayne were on even playing fields, do you believe Siohvaughn would still have custody of her children?
When you say even playing fields, do you mean the fame part or the money part?
Well, I mean both.
Yeah, I think so.
Were you in court the day that the court-appointed forensic psychologist actually made a decision that stated that Siohvaughn would be that the children should remain in the custody of Siohvaughn Wade?
Yes. Yes.
But yet the courts awarded Dewayne Wade custody.
Yes.
Was that shocking to you?
Very much so. Especially the way that they did it.
And the forensic psychologist that actually said that the children should stay in Siohvaughn's care, did you see her reaction when the children were awarded to Dewayne?
Did I see her? No, I actually talked to her on the phone. She asked me to meet her at court. Well, actually, she wanted me to come and pick her up. But,
was she
I
shocked?
was working. Yeah, very much so.
And she was shocked because her evaluation stated otherwise?
I think everyone in the courtroom just knew that she would get the kids.
Because the kids were already within her custody.
Exactly.
Okay. And you also just want to say for the record, let's just say this for the record, that you're not accusing anyone of burning your car.
I don't want to answer that.
Okay, that's fine. Do you have anything else to add?
No, that's it.
Because you didn't want to say nothing in the first place.
At all, not a thing.
I know. And I thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Do you think the media had a lot to do with this?
I believe I was tried in the media. Certainly I do.
Well, if you was tried in the media, why didn't you fight back in the media?
Because I had a choice to make. I could either fight for an image of what I was like as a mother, and that's saying, what will the media think about me, and what will other people think about me, or I could fight to be a mother for real. And that comes back to this: what do my children know about me? You know what I mean? And those are the things that matter to me. I had a choice to make. Time was of the essence. My children were broken and they were in need, and I could have made sure that my image, so to speak, stayed afloat, and that for everyone else I looked or appeared like a good parent, or I could actually get behind closed doors, roll up my sleeves, and really be a mother to these children who at that time father was absent and were very broken and very hurt, and I chose to do that.
Najee, how are you going to continue to assist Siohvaughn to regain the custody of her children?
First of all, I have to ask God to continue to give the strength, the grace, the favor that He has given to this point, and to hope and believe that the court will come out of the agreement of punishing Zion and Zaire from not seeing their mother. Because when the court tells her that she's not going to see them, they are saying Zion and Zaire are not entitled to see their mother either. Just to continue to hope that it's not only going to change for this family, but it's going to change for all the families that we have seen that have been unrighteously, children being removed not only from the mother, but I also believe there's fathers out there that his children have been removed from them when they are that parent to be with their children.
Najee, you were there. Siohvaughn said that she only received 3 months worth of child support for all the years that she had her children when they were separated. Did you witness the financial struggle that Siohvaughn had?
Yes, in one occasion we were in Florida. We were going to get some stuff for the children. We were in Publix. And she got everything at the register and she slid her card. And it says decline. He got all her funds. I had to pay on that moment for whatever she was getting for the children. And then, like, it has been like that. Going to court, hearing all the cases saying this worker that probably from the post office or whatever, kind of all the regular job, saying they gotta pay child support. We saw in one occasion the same judges that are involved in this case literally sending men to jail for not paying child support. But in this case, she was never entitled to get it. But when it was closer to grant Mr. Wade with custody of his children, then they say, give her 3 months of child support.
We'll be right back. Real Talk with Kietta.